Today we're diving deep into the OWASP Top 10, a critical list of the most dangerous web application vulnerabilities, updated for 2021. This material closely mirrors the Try Hack Me OWASP Top 10 room, and in this video we'll explain each vulnerability in detail, walk through real-world examples, describe the risks they pose, and end each segment with practical prevention strategies. Let's jump right in. Broken access control. Number 1. Broken access control is when your application fails to properly enforce user permissions. Imagine logging in as a basic user and simply changing a URL or request to access an admin dashboard. Suddenly you're seeing confidential data or performing privileged transactions. This is alarmingly common. Studies find roughly 94% of applications have some form of broken access control. Attackers exploit it to escalate privileges, steal data, or wreak havoc. The defense? Implement role-based access checks server-side for every action, deny by default, test extensively across user roles, and use automated scanning tools to catch hidden paths or endpoints. Cryptographic failures. Number 2. Cryptographic failures represent weak or absent encryption when handling sensitive data, like passwords, credit cards, or personal IDs. Instead of sensitive data exposure, OWASP narrowed the focus to cryptography itself in 2021. Risks include using outdated algorithms like MD5 or SHA-1, storing plaintext secrets, and failing to use TLS in transit. Attackers can intercept or manipulate data, decrypt old algorithms, or harvest credentials. The cure is robust. Use TLS everywhere, employ modern encryption standards, hash passwords with bcrypt or Argon2, manage keys securely, disable autocomplete on sensitive forms, and audit your encryption hygiene regularly. Injection. Number 3. Injection flaws occur when untrusted input is passed to an interpreter and executed as code, like SQL, NoSQL, OS commands, or templating engines. Classic SQL injection still ranks high, with attackers manipulating queries to dump databases or alter data. Newer forms include NoSQL and expression language injections. During Try Hack Me exercises, learners often exploit these to escalate from a simple login bypass to full server takeover. To defend, use parameterized statements or prepared queries, validate inputs by whitelisting, apply escaping based on context, and embrace modern frameworks designed to neutralize injection risks. Insecure design. Number 4. Insecure design is a relatively new focus. It's about flawed architecture or missing threat modeling up front, not just coding mistakes. Imagine a poorly thought-out password reset flow that permits anyone to reset anyone else's password, or an API accepting unauthenticated requests without verifying origin. The problem starts before code is written: insufficient planning, lack of security patterns, absence of design reviews. Effective mitigation includes threat modeling during design, using established secure patterns, performing design-level risk assessments, and collaborating closely with developers and security teams before implementation begins. Security misconfiguration. Number 5. Security misconfiguration is the most frequently observed issue, ranging from default admin interfaces and sample pages left online to verbose error messages exposing stack traces, and directory listings openly accessible. Try Hack Me labs often reveal port scanning exposing SSH or database ports, forgotten configuration files, or permissive CORS policies. Attackers love this because they can glean version numbers or credentials easily. Prevention involves hardening every layer. Remove or disable unused services, lock down directories, sanitize error messages, regularly update configs, and use deployment automation to ensure consistency and security. Vulnerable and outdated components. Number 6. Using out-of-date libraries, frameworks, or components with known vulnerabilities is like leaving your back door wide open. In Try Hack Me labs, users might spot a reported vulnerability in a specific version of a web framework or NPM package. Attackers can automate scanning to detect such weaknesses and run exploits. To avoid this, implement dependency management. Regularly run SCA tools, subscribe to vulnerability feeds, update libraries promptly, remove unused modules, and consider using software bills of materials, SBOMs, in CI/CD pipelines to keep visibility on every included component. Identification and authentication failures. Number 7. This category covers flaws in user authentication mechanisms, weak password policies, missing MFA, insecure session handling, or failure to log critical auth events. In labs, students might brute force credentials or hijack sessions with predictable tokens. Once inside, an attacker could impersonate admin users, manipulate data, or escalate privileges. Strong defenses include enforcing strong password rules, using multi-factor authentication, rotating session IDs after login or privilege change, implementing secure cookie flags, and locking down accounts after multiple failed attempts, all monitored and logged diligently. Software and data integrity failures. Number 8. This section focuses on ensuring your software and data are trustworthy. Examples include insecure deserialization, leading to remote code execution, or pulling updates from unverified sources. Imagine your C/CD pipeline downloading a compromised build artifact or executing untrusted YAML input. The entire system becomes vulnerable. Safeguards include verifying digital signatures on all dependencies and artifacts, avoiding or securing deserialization processes, using secure software delivery methods, and adopting principles of zero trust even within internal pipelines. Security logging and monitoring failures. Number 9. Without proper logging and monitoring, security incidents often go unnoticed and unresolved. OWASP highlights missing logs for authentication events, privilege changes, or data access. In practice, TryHackMe labs teach the importance of generating centralized logs, detecting anomalies, and responding swiftly. If a brute force attack occurs on login endpoints or unusual data downloads happen, without alerts these go unseen. You should implement centralized logging via tools like Elk or Splunk, set alerts on suspicious patterns, retain logs long enough for investigations, and regularly review logs, not just storing them. Server-side request forgery, SSRF. Number 10. SSRF vulnerabilities let attackers trick your server into sending requests to unauthorized or internal systems, perhaps even your cloud metadata endpoints. In labs, this might look like abusing an image fetch endpoint to retrieve internal IP info or internal API responses. This can expose private data, pivot attacks, or escalate to full system compromise. Defend by validating user-supplied URLs, enforcing strict whitelists for allowed domains, blocking access to internal IP ranges, and ensuring no unsafe redirects, especially in cloud environments. Wrapping up. Final thoughts on OWASP Top 10, 2021. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the OWASP Top 10 for 2021. These 10 categories represent the most critical security risks facing modern web applications today. But more than just a list, they highlight a mindset. One that prioritizes secure design, vigilant monitoring, and continuous improvement. From broken access controls and insecure defaults to overlooked dependencies and flawed cryptography, each vulnerability shows how small missteps in development can lead to major breaches in real-world systems. Security is not a one-time task. It's a continuous process that must be embedded at every stage of the development lifecycle. Whether you're a beginner practicing on platforms like TryHackMe, or a developer deploying real-world applications, understanding these core risks is your first step toward building safer software. I encourage you to dive deeper into each topic, explore hands-on labs like the OWASP room on TryHackMe, and apply what you've learned. The best way to understand these vulnerabilities is to experiment with them safely, learn how they're exploited, and master how to defend against them. Thanks for watching, and remember, secure code isn't just good code, it's responsible code. Stay curious, stay alert, and always code with security in mind.